Hello and welcome to Body and Mind Uncensored. We're your hosts, Kelly
and Celise. Combining 26 years of nursing experience, we're dedicated to sharing our expertise in mental health and women's health with as many people as possible.
The topics discussed in this podcast are based on our educated opinions and real-life experience and should not replace advice from your healthcare team. Hello and welcome back.
Hi, Kelly. Welcome back off vacation.
It's been a hot minute since we've recorded or done.
Long.
Yeah, very.
We've both been on vacations.
Yep.
I've been sick. I don't know if you've been sick, but we'll get to that. We'll get to all the things. Lots to unpack today.
Yeah. Lots of catch up, lots of updates, check in on life. So, the last time we recorded, I think it was right before you went to Bora Bora.
I think you're right.
I want to hear all about your Bora Bora trip.
Okay, so Bora Bora was everything you would ever imagine it was, just like those little huts over the water. We first flew to Tahiti, and Tahiti is not a sight for sore eyes. We could have stopped there. We could have just stayed in Tahiti, but we stayed there for a few days, and it was beautiful. It was just, the amenities were beautiful. We got out of the resort a couple times, walked around, went downtown, had some pizza that was phenomenal. There were some banners up for the Olympics because we were there during the second half of the Olympics and actually happened to just miss the surfing events in Tahiti. So that would have been cool to see, but we did miss that. But beautiful. And then we took a little flight to Bora Bora. Bora Bora has a little airport, and then a boat ride to the resort that we stayed at. The first night, we woke up early the next day because it was like Christmas. It was like this unexplored, because we got there when it was late and had dinner reservations. So on this resort in Bora Bora, there were 5 restaurants, I think. And we had reservations at each one of them and a couple of them twice. So the first night was a French restaurant, and it wasn't like Olive Garden. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Well, Olive Garden is Italian.
Oh, yeah. And we weren't in Italy. So that's probably where my disappointment started. It was right there. Why doesn't this taste like Italian food? No, but it was definitely different. It was just exactly like 5-course meals are, where they bring out a small tasting of each course. And
that's perfect for
my small little tummy. It was. In fact, the hard part is that Jeremy's parents had to pay for 2 full meal cards. And when I say they had to, this trip was a celebratory trip for my in-laws' 50th wedding anniversary. And so they wanted to take all 5 of their children and their spouses and just go celebrate. And so that's what we did. It was a lot of fun. My mother-in-law's birthday was also on the trip. So we had plans for that. We decorated her room, had a couple small gifts that we brought with us, told the staff there. They really decorated it. They gave her a Bora Bora sarong that helped decorate their room, and it was a lot of fun. So back to the Bora Bora resort. The best food that we had there was the Chinese, oddly enough. And maybe it was because it was more Americanized than the rest of the dishes, but it was delicious. We went on a couple of excursions. The snorkeling in Bora Bora is outstanding. It is like nothing I've ever seen. Just off those huts, we had an infinity pool connected to our private hut, and we could just sit in that or sit in the net, and stingray would swim by, shark. It was crazy. So we did take a couple excursions where we rode jet skis, got to tool around with those for a while, and then 2 snorkeling excursions where we got to pet the sharks, the blacktip sharks, stingray, manta ray, and tiger ray, I think were the others. But
very cool. The pictures that I've seen, water looks super clear.
It's unreal. It really is. Like off of our bungalow's deck, it looks like it's maybe 5 feet down because it's so clear, but it's not. You could jump off it, dive off it. We could still get to the bottom, but just clearer than anything I've ever seen.
Very cool.
Weather was very cooperative. My mother-in-law treated the females to a massage. So I got to go up to this fancy little spa hut at the top of this lush mountain that overlooked the jungle. And I had this wonderful massage. It was just paradise. It was a lot of plane hopping, airport hopping, which tends to take a toll. And there were a lot of us in a group, which is hard to do, for getting everybody to meals and excursions. But it went off without a hitch. It was good.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so jealous, and hopefully maybe someday I'll get there because it's on my bucket list for sure.
It should be.
Seeing all the pictures and everything. I'm sure it was very hard to come home.
We were ready, believe it or not. We were ready. We were gone for 12 days. My sweet, sweet mom came and stayed with our puppies, which has been a bigger pain than probably leaving kids because kids can speak for themselves. But yeah, she came and drove the 6-7 hours from Idaho all the way down here to watch our 3 puppies while we went on the trip of a lifetime.
Very cool. So you didn't try the rover thing again?
No, ma'am.
You had your mama.
No, ma'am. I had my mom, who I knew loved my puppies, and I came home and my flowers looked better than they'd ever looked before. And I thought, yes, we should hire moms for everything.
Mom got a little vacation too then.
She did. She said that she was able to do whatever she wanted. She could watch whatever she wanted and not feel any guilt over it. So I don't judge her at all. I think just sitting on the couch for as long as you want with nobody telling you or needing you sounds amazing.
That does sound amazing. Well, I'm so happy that you had a great time. But then I know on the way back, you might have picked something up on the airplane, it sounds like.
So in my mind, and I guess I'm the one telling the story, so this is how it's going to go down. In my mind, I started getting sick the day we got home. And it's just that pressure you can feel in your back of your nose and your throat, and nothing actually hurts, but it's like something's going on back there.
Yeah.
Kind of like an inflammation. Yeah. So started getting ill, vomiting, diarrhea, cold, cough. I know. It's exactly what your boss wants to hear after a practically 2-week vacation. Oh, and now I'm sick.
I'm convinced those airplanes are definitely petri dishes. Every time.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like, not every time, but a lot of the times when I fly, I end up getting something. I mean, I did when I flew to Vegas. And
there you go.
2 days later,
there were a lot
COVID.
of people with masks. And I guess it's karma, because I was thinking to myself, wow, that's miserable. It's not mandatory, but I guess if you don't want to be sick.
And not just on the airplane, but everywhere you go, you're traveling with people from who knows where, with
all over
what
the
kind
world.
of habits they have.
Things that my
and
immune system's never seen. Right. I could have gotten this in Bora Bora, and it's a monkey disease.
You could have monkeypox.
I have monkeypox now. So I don't know. I got back from Bora Bora the 12th of August. Today's the 8th of September. So we're almost a month out. I still have a residual cough. So never did test myself for COVID. Nobody else on the trip got sick. Jeremy didn't get sick, who is one of those who doesn't believe in withholding or abstaining from physical affection when your partner is sick. And so he didn't care that I was sick and still wanted to love on me. And he didn't get it. It's kind of weird.
It's weird how sometimes you get others around you sick and sometimes you don't.
Well, I'm pretty sure my immune system's kind of shot from working from home. Don't you think that?
Yeah.
We used to be exposed at the hospital to everything. We'd go to lunch in the cafeteria, just everything. And now working from home, I feel like I'm kind of in a bubble.
Yeah.
And get sick a little bit more often.
I mean, obviously I got strep, and who knows where I got that from, because nobody in my house was sick and I work from home. So
exactly.
Yeah, weird.
Yep.
Well, what else has been happening since you came back from Bora Bora?
I know you've got your own stories to tell, so I'll just wrap up mine. I have you. Yes.
I don't even know what has transpired in my life. I can't remember yesterday.
You've got some good things. I'll remind you.
Okay.
So then my last adventure, like I said, and I don't want this to be like a victim podcast where I'm like, I've been sick and I've been to Bora Bora. And people are like, shut up. At least you went to Bora Bora. Yes, very, very happy I got to go to Bora Bora. So then I did come home sick and then had my lipo redone on Wednesday. And I'm still healing from that.
Okay, hold on. I don't remember if we've shared that you had lipo with people.
Maybe we haven't. Well, we shared that I had Okay. Weight has been a struggle since I started having kids. Up until then, it was good. It was fine. Started having kids and just gained weight, especially in my midsection. And every woman I think knows who struggles with the midsection, that is hard to get rid of. And so I had a sleeve, and I think we mentioned that a few years ago. Still had the abdominal stuff going on. And so I went and I had liposuction on my upper abdomen, lower abdomen, and my flanks. And it was great. I loved the results. Would highly recommend it. I think maybe the provider who did the first one, I don't know if he was a little more aggressive in some areas and not in others, but it created kind of a bum crack, if you will. Very small bum crack, like an infant bum crack down my abdomen. Just as cute, too.
I was just going to say.
Yes, just as cute and pinchable, I'm sure.
Definitely not what you want when you're wearing a bikini, right? And you want to feel happy.
Right. Yep. I looked awful in my bikini because of the bum crack. No, I don't wear bikinis, nor will I ever. But
that's what I said. You might surprise yourself.
Maybe.
Now that you've had
these surgeries I've got in me. So it created a bum crack. When I went in for my post-op, they wanted to fix it. They felt like they could do a better job, a smoother transition on my flanks, abdomen. So I had that done on Wednesday and have just been recovering. There's something new, and I hadn't told you about this, I don't think. So it's called Renuvion. And I don't know if that is where I went, if that's the name of the procedure or if that's the medical name, but they use helium and plasma J or something like that. So after the liposuction, I do want to paint a little bit of a picture for you. My appointment was at 10:30, so in Bountiful. So we left bright and early from St. George to drive up to Bountiful for it. We didn't get out of there until 6:30 at night.
Wow. I hope you stayed up here. Nope. And didn't have to drive back.
Nope, we drove back. We have dogs, remember?
You're crazy.
Oh, you know what? I got to back up. I have another adventure I haven't shared.
Oh.
Okay, we'll stick with the lipo. Yeah. So after the liposuction, all done, I opted for this Renuvion. So they go back in with this wand and they inject helium and plasma into the areas and it tightens the skin. So my abdominal skin is going to be so much better, like from stretch marks. And just, when you lose weight, that elasticity is sometimes gone when you're maybe premenopausal or
your skin just loses elasticity over time.
Yeah.
Gravity.
So, exactly. Stupid gravity. So I'm excited about the results for that.
Awesome. Well, that's interesting. Okay. I've never heard of injecting helium or... Wow. Well, I can't wait to see what your results look like. Are you happy with it so far?
So far, yeah. Good. And I think I'm happier now at this point than I was last time. So I feel like we've made a lot more progress, a lot more smooth. It doesn't seem as... How do I say this? Dumpling-esque, like little pouches, just kind of cloud. I don't know. So recovering from that, doing okay, but that helium has kind of added a twist. It still stays in there and can push on it and like makes little Rice Krispie crackles, like decrepitous or crepidate, like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
It is very interesting. We'll see how it does. But you don't even have to have liposuction to do that, I don't think. So if it works well, I've got some loose skin on my legs that I might try it on. I will add that it was more painful than the liposuction this time. Oddly enough,
the heel was painful?
Was. I don't know if it's because of gas on raw. I don't know. It burned.
Yeah, I can imagine injecting gas. That sounds interesting.
Anywho.
Well, I'm excited to hear about your results and if you're happier, and hopefully the little baby butt crack has gone away.
It is gone. Good. It's already gone. Good. We're using, and we did use this last time because day 2 last time I was like, there's a bum crack. It's not going away. I put it in my notes to them like, please help.
Mm-hmm.
And they suggested KT tape. And so I did. I wore KT tape the entire healing process last time, and it didn't work, and a board and all these other things. Anyway, this time we do have the KT tape on, and it does seem to be working. So I think she hit the spots maybe he wasn't as aggressive in that kind of caused this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Good. Awesome. I'm happy that you've had a better experience the second time around.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about your other adventure that you forgot about.
The other adventure, and I've had a lot going on in my life, and so normally this wouldn't have been forgotten, but it was Jeremy and I's 6th anniversary, and he surprised us, he knew about it, with just a night stay at Vegas. So we went to the Tahitian, kind of like a reminder of where we just were. We went to the Tahitian village in Vegas for a night and just had dinner, and we went and sat in the lazy river and floated around that a few times.
Very fun. Was it like Tahiti?
No, it wasn't like Tahiti, but the resort we stayed at in Tahiti needs to put in a lazy river, because the lazy river went through like palm trees and these fun statues with water spouts. It was a beautiful, beautiful ground, right? The area and the resort was beautiful. Highly recommend it. Coming back off of Bora Bora and Tahiti, it wasn't comparable.
The thought is there, and you got away for a minute.
Yes. So yes, I've had a lot going on. Whirlwind.
Yeah,
but you,
sounds like it.
Kelly, you too.
Well, I want one more update from you. Sorry.
Oh, yes.
So we did our menopause several podcasts ago. I don't even remember how many. And you were going to take a test, and you went and got a test and maybe have a result by now.
Yes. Okay. So the result is positive.
Ooh.
What that means, I don't know yet. So this test I went and got, and I will tell you that nobody knew of them. So I couldn't find them. And when I went to go look for them, I had to get help. And so I was telling people at the store, this is what I'm looking for. They're like, I didn't know we had something like that. And then when I went to go check out, I didn't know there was such a thing. So obviously, this is new on the shelf, right? People aren't aware. The brand that I chose was Clear Blue Menopause, and it's a 5-stick box. And it wants you to download an app, and then you take these tests 5 days in a row. It measures your FSH level.
Okay.
So tracking it over several days helps determine if the overall level is high, low, or variable. So positive, I'm guessing, I haven't read enough, and maybe I can while you're talking, but I'm guessing means I've got FSH, the follicle stimulating hormone, still in my indication of your menopause stage. If you do not use the app, you will get FSH results only. Okay, that's my problem. I'm going to download the app.
So where you went, they didn't know about the test. Where did you go to find
Just
this?
to Walmart.
Okay.
And not everywhere has it, so I did search where I could find it. It was their last box. They only had one, and maybe they just carry one because they're not that popular.
Was it in the pharmacy section? Like by
just
where
you
can get a pregnancy test?
Yep. They're locked up with the pregnancy tests, which I thought they were, but the first person that helped me, neither one of us could see this. And the box. Anyway, they're locked up at Walmart in the pregnancy and the sex toy and the condoms and the lube. And of course, the first person can't help me. And so she's like, just wait right here. You betcha. I'm just going to wait right here by these sex toys and have everybody that walks by wonder if I'm just...
What kind of a dildo you're picking out for yourself.
Yeah, that's what they're wondering, I'm sure. I did learn some things, and there was like some tush kush. I know. I'm just thinking some of these names should not be okay. It was lube for backdoor play is what was on the box. I know. It was a very informative trip to the pharmacy.
Very interesting. I noticed, not to get on a totally different subject, but I don't ever remember sex toys being at the pharmacy.
No.
Like you could always get lube, you could always get pregnancy tests, things like that. But I think I noticed fairly recently when I was at Smith's picking up a prescription, they have sex toys on the shelf now? I thought you had to go to a special shop for that. So that was
they want in on that money.
That was, yeah.
Not a novelty.
Apparently.
There was also, I mean, and you can certainly cut this out if it's TMI. It is uncensored. So
it is uncensored.
I guess
We talk about whatever.
Ears.
Yeah.
There was an anal toy there, which surprised me. I mean, the tush kush was part of that, right? Mm-hmm. It kind of surprised me just because any kid can walk by and read.
Yeah.
And I certainly wouldn't want my kids reading that. But
well, and at Smith's, all of that stuff isn't locked up. So really, is there an age? Like, can anybody just go and buy this stuff?
They're at Smith's, not locked up. So
yeah,
anybody who's curious and has $20 can purchase whatever.
Walk around the store with it in your cart and have people look at you.
Exactly. I don't know about you, and I'm not going to say anything more than this, but there is no way I'd be buying my sex toys at the local Walmart.
Yeah.
I'm going to get them online in unmarked boxes, and I'm going to make my husband go out and get the box.
Yeah. Back in the day, you know, when you, I
I know. We could go into that.
We'll just say
Jack and Jill's. There's Dr. John's. There's all kinds of things. And
maybe you always walked out of those stores looking around like, do I know somebody that's going to recognize me?
For sure. Go in at night when it's dark, or a different city. That's the best thing when you're out of town.
Make sure you wear your hat. And well, speaking of out of town, you know, Evanston has some shops like that too.
Yes. Not too far. We eat a lot of things over the border in Wyoming, huh?
Yeah. So here's another backstory for you. Just a funny little random off topic. So when I lived in North Carolina, after I got out of the Army.
Remind me
where I lived. We were stationed at Fort Bragg, so we lived in Fayetteville and the surrounding area. But when I got out, there was a little mom pop movie store around the corner from our house. And I got a job there, and there was a back room where you could go and you could check out it was like a Blockbuster, but there was a back room that you could check out adult movies. And so, it was funny to see the people that would come in and frequent the back room.
Yeah, because back then it wasn't online, huh? They had to go embarrass themselves.
Yes. Yep. You had to go to
you had to be serious.
But in North Carolina, you could check those out. I've never seen X-rated movies in Utah, of course, in the Blockbusters or other places, but I thought that was interesting. So
that is.
Sorry, totally off topic. And
I have family in Apex.
I don't know.
Is that anywhere close? Okay.
Good to know. I don't know where that is.
Well, Kelly, now that we've heard my last month, you've gone on some trips too.
Yeah, I've taken a few trips. Well, I think maybe 2, because we went the end of July and then we just got back from Flaming Gorge. So we've tried to go once a month for the summer to Flaming Gorge, which is where we frequent with our boat.
So wait, was this your last trip for the season?
Unfortunately, yes.
No, I'm just as sad for you.
I'm sad. I love the summer and I love to be able to go out and enjoy the nice weather and the boat and the pool and all the things. And today is September 8th. I think we said that. But it is fall and unfortunately time to start prepping for winter. So we will be winterizing the boat, winterizing the pool, pulling out the garden, all the things. And it's my least favorite time of the year because I don't get to enjoy the warm weather anymore. It's about to snow and I hate snow.
Yeah. So the silver lining is that you were able to take the boat out this year, right?
Yes.
Last year, not so much. How many times did you get it out last year?
We went out a few times last year, but it seemed like every time we went out, there was some kind of a problem because we bought the boat last year. And well, I don't know if you know, but when you buy a used boat that you don't know how it's been taken care of, there's things that can go wrong with it. So we did end up putting a lot of money into the boat to try to get it running. The last trip last year, we ended up losing. It has 2 engines and one of the engines wasn't working. And then we also have a generator on board and the generator wasn't working either. So we were down to 1 engine. We do have a trolling motor on it. So, but it was just ended up being a costly
year
thing at the end of the year. But this year, everything's been great. Both motors have worked. It ended up being an electrical issue, and the generator has worked great. We haven't had any, knock on wood,
That's
again.
awesome.
We haven't had any issues this year. So we'll be winterizing it and covering it and everything for the winter.
It was just pure enjoyment.
It was. I mean, there's
Good
still
for you.
things that we need to do on it. Like we want to replace the canvas, like the tops and all the things. But as far as like functional issues, we haven't really had any. So yeah, it was good.
That is so good. I'm so happy for you guys. I know how frustrating it was to get it all the way up there and you'd come home early. And I mean, coming home early off of vacation is sad in and of itself, but
Yeah.
to not be able to get to do what you were doing and what you bought the boat for.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Riker did come with us on this last trip, so that was fun
That
to
was
have.
good. He said he was
Riker.
going to, didn't he? And he did.
Yep, he ended up going, and he had fun.
Good. Any other incidents happen at Flaming Gorge, or was it just beautiful weather? Was it stormy? Was it warm?
It was stormy, so it did rain quite a bit, but it was fine. We have rain gear on the boat, so we just put up the rain
that's
gear.
kind of magical too, I think.
Yeah.
You know, just a good summer rain. It's beautiful.
Yep.
But nothing that was
it was not bad. It wasn't super hot. It wasn't cold. It was a good time. Good last final trip of the year.
Yeah. Does Riker think he'll go with you next year?
I asked him. He said he did have fun, but he said, I don't know if I'll go. So
Really?
Yeah, he said he thinks we need a bigger boat.
Oh, geez. A bigger boat would take like a bigger truck, right? I don't know.
Well, it would mean leaving it up there and
in a slip. And that's where it would be. Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Well,
I don't know.
I'm so happy for you. That sounds
Sean
so
always says we need a bigger boat too, but yeah.
But you've got a huge boat. Remind me, how many beds does it, or how many can it sleep?
It can sleep 6 to 8.
Yeah.
So
that's great, especially when it's just the two of you.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
And the 8 would be if we had people up on the deck. There is a bed that you can set up there. Of course, with the rain gear up if it's raining or not. But yeah, it will sleep 6 comfortably, 8 with the additional bed up top. So,
and did you miss the crowd that you were hoping to miss with Labor Day?
Yes.
Over?
We try not to go over weekends. The crazies come out on the weekends.
We do.
We also try not to go over holidays. So we'll usually go before a holiday or right after the holiday. So Labor Day was Monday. We ended up going Tuesday and then came back on Friday. And yes, it was amazing. I mean, there were still some people out, but for the most part, yeah, the holiday crowds were not there. And it was just
magic. Oh, I love it.
You kind of have the whole lake to yourself, which is nice. Yeah.
Did you get off the lake at any point? Just stay on the boat?
Nope. We just stayed on the boat.
Do you get nauseous or seasick?
No. Which is a good thing because I was using the scopolamine patches and had that little reaction. I don't know that we've shared that.
No. But thank goodness you haven't had to restart them.
Yeah.
Would you? So, that's the question. Would you?
No, I won't use them anymore. So for those of you listening, scopolamine patches are motion sickness patches. You just put them behind your ear and you can wear them for 3 days and then swap them out. So I have a condition called neurocardiogenic syncope, and that condition causes me to become dizzy, nauseous every once in a while. It's not all the time, but it has to do with my heart rate, my blood pressure, and my nervous system. So anyway, I got these scopolamine patches to try to combat that dizziness when it comes on. And I had a bout of that a couple of weeks ago. And I put one of my patches on and kind of went about my day. And I went to the grocery store and I felt like there was something in my eye and I couldn't figure out what it was. So I got back into the truck after I did all my shopping and looked in the mirror, and my pupil in my left eye was humongous. It basically took up the whole colored part of my eye. Like, it was huge. And then the other pupil was pinpoint. So teeny tiny. And I, as a nurse, kind of know that there's some things that can cause that. But I drove home and when I got home, I Googled it because I wanted to make sure I wasn't having a brain aneurysm or anything like that. Migraines can also cause it. There's numerous things. But on Dr. Google, it said a scopolamine patch can cause that as well. And I had no idea until I Googled that. Anyway, needless to say, took off the patch and it did take a couple of days, but that dilation finally went away.
When you've used these before, right?
I have.
And haven't had that happen. So just out of the blue.
Well, and I don't know, like I haven't noticed it happening. I haven't really, it might have happened before. I don't know, but I hadn't noticed it. So yeah, kind of freaked Sean out. He was like, should we go to the ER?
Like, I feel fine.
Because I had made him go to the ER a little bit before that. He got stung by a bee and is apparently allergic to bees now. And so I made him go to the ER for that. And so he wanted to make sure that
Which is good to go. Because you don't mess with bee stings and anaphylaxis. And did they give him an EpiPen? We've kind of been all over the place with this story, but
I know.
Did they give him an EpiPen to have at home?
They did give him Epi there as well as a steroid, and then did write a prescription for Epi. So yeah, we have Epi now. And every time that he gets stung, it will be worse.
It'll exasperate. It'll get,
Yeah. It was a weird thing. We don't need to go into that, but yeah, the way that it happened, it was really, really weird. So
I did have my cousin's husband. They had some property up in Grace, Idaho. And I don't know the fine details, but he actually ended up passing away in his 30s. He got stung by a bee or a bunch of bees out in a field. He was building the fence.
Yeah.
And he ended up passing away, leaving a lot of young kids. So yeah, nothing to mess around with. So I'm glad you guys have some EpiPens, and because with your garden and your fruit and everything, you guys spend a ton of time. Like, you need to take it with you on the boat too, Kelly.
Well, we have bees, right? So he's had bees before and he's been stung before numerous times. But this last time, it was just kind of a weird thing. We do keep bees and typically don't get stung, but he has a full suit and everything now, and he won't go out without it.
Well, and hopefully not alone. I wouldn't do it if I were home alone, because you never know when a bee can get in the suit. And
yes, but we will be starting to carry an EpiPen wherever we go.
Yeah, as you should. I'm sorry, one more question about the EpiPen. I used to be an allergy nurse, and so for years, working with people who have allergies, we didn't treat for bee allergy because it was an ear, nose, and throat clinic, so more seasonal allergies. But that was a big complaint people had, were how expensive these EpiPens are.
Yeah.
That was years ago. Have they gone down? Tell me.
Luckily, our insurance covered it.
Perfect.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know
have really good insurance.
We do. I mean, we have a high deductible plan, and our deductible and everything is met for the year. So everything's covered at 100%. But yeah, I don't know how much EpiPens are now.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad yours was covered.
Yeah. Hopefully they're starting to cover them for people, because they are really important. I mean,
they're life-saving. It's just crazy, right? To make that unaffordable.
Yeah. EpiPens and naloxone. They should be free.
Yes. Yes. Naloxone, that's another one we could talk about. Go ahead. I've got an update again. On the Clear Blue Wheezy. So I downloaded the test because it told me this kit is not going to be any good if you don't download it. So I download it, go through the steps of creating an account. And then it's starting to ask me questions like, are you pregnant? Are you breastfeeding? Are you taking hormonal birth control, hormone replacement therapy, blah, blah, blah,
Are
blah,
you pregnant?
Blah.
This is why I'm taking a menopause test.
But guess what? It says if you've had a hysterectomy, so surgical procedures which affect your cycle, you should not use this product because, So it says, what if I already bought this product and peed on one of the sticks? It says, we'd be happy to work with you and investigate a refund.
What?
So, I know. I don't know if I should just push continue. It also talks about PCOS. You're not supposed to use it if you have PCOS.
You've had a hysterectomy, but you have an ovary.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should go back and say, no, none ya business.
I mean, does it say a full hysterectomy and?
It says hysterectomy, oophorectomy, which is the ovary, and the endometrial ablation or
Mm.
ever been diagnosed with PCOS.
Mm.
But I'm going to change my
Okay.
answer to no.
Well, you have had an oophorectomy though, too, technically, I guess.
One.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I put
Well,
yes. I bought
that's
it.
a bummer.
I'm not going to try and get my $20 back. I think that's more of a hassle than it's worth. I think I'm just going to continue and say no. I've got one ovary. I mean,
Yeah.
it did affect my cycle, which is what they're wanting to know.
Yes.
You know, but let's see. Let's see anyway.
Just see what it says.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a bummer. Good to know before somebody
is.
goes out and buys one of those after
Right.
listening to this. So if you have had any of those things, use caution. Does it say anywhere on the box?
That's what I was
or is that just on the app?
Nope. It's just on the app.
So dumb.
Which they should save themselves some pain of people calling, but I'm sure that they know people won't. They'd rather just have people buy it.
Well, they should have it on the box and on the app. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to talk about this, but it's been a minute since we've recorded, and not just because we've had life happen, right? I mean, we've had some times, but you also kind of shared with me, and I've kind of felt this way too, that we may have been in a little funk and not really wanting to record episodes or anything like that. So not that I want to get into the details of the funk or how we've kind of been feeling, but I'm happy that we're recording again. I really enjoy these episodes and the time, but I wanted to get some thoughts from you on what kinds of things, when you get into those moments where you're like, I really don't want to do X, Y, and Z, or what kinds of things help you get out of your funks?
Well, I actually was sitting at a light yesterday, and I could feel my thoughts going to just negative, right? Not like, oh, I hate my life. This is, nothing like that, but just this feeling of it's already Saturday night. My weekend's almost gone. Starting to feel that panic of starting a new week, not feeling well. And I just realized I need to stop feeding my dialogue of why I feel this way, right? Like, I feel this way. Let me tell myself why I feel this way. And so I have been really trying to change my thought process, because my mind is so powerful. Everybody's mind is so powerful in how they feel.
Yeah.
And if I haven't shared this before, this is embarrassing and a good example of how much my mind controls how I feel. And I don't want to speak for everybody. That's why I say my mind. But when I had little kids, I was quilting a quilt for one of them for their birthday. And I put the needle in my mouth. And I was sitting on my bed watching TV. And I knew, like, I consciously thought to myself, you put the needle in your mouth. Remember that. Right? And so then I'm doing something else, and then the needle's gone. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I swallowed that needle. I swallowed it. I know I did. So I'm like, it's nowhere. It's nowhere to be found. So I'm grabbing my husband, like, I swallowed a needle, and I felt it. I could tell them right where to take the x-ray. Guess what? No needle. The needle was in my carpet at home. But
Shut up.
Because I was so convinced that it, I'd searched for it. It wasn't there. It had to be inside of me.
Oh.
I felt it. And so that example always comes back to me when I'm like, why am I feeling this way? I have such power over my body with my thoughts.
Yeah.
That why shouldn't I try and control them into positive thoughts? And so that's what I've been trying to do. It's not a real helpful thing for, obviously funks that people need to go to see a doctor for.
Yeah.
It wasn't to that degree, but just a funk of I didn't feel good. I'd been busy traveling. I felt run down. And so I've also focused on getting enough rest. That's been helpful. I know these are things that everybody's heard, but it really makes a huge difference.
Oh, it does, for sure.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I've kind of been in a funk. Like, I'm like, okay, we should record. But then I knew that you had been sick and we had both had vacations. And sometimes it's kind of nice to just have some downtime. But like I said, I really enjoy doing this. But yeah, I even texted you. I was like, oh, I don't know. Does she still want to do this?
And I said, I think so. Like I said the first time you asked. I think so. So I've been concerned that we've kind of painted ourselves in a corner. like more of a niche than we can supply a podcast for every week.
Oh,
right?
no. I think we have a lot of things still to discuss.
Good. Okay. Because I'm like, I have nothing else.
Yeah. Oh, no. I still feel like we have tons of topics. I would love to start hearing from people, though. I know that we have had some people reach out with different ideas for topics. We have ideas for guest speakers and things like that. We just need to start putting it all down. But yeah, if you're still listening to this podcast, we're on episode 18. When this posts, it will be episode 18. So if you've stuck with us this long, we so appreciate you. If you're new to the podcast and this is the first one you're listening to, great. Please go back and re-listen to the others if you'd like to. But we would love to get ideas, things that would help you if you want to be a guest on our show. We'd love to have guests as well.
Guests are so much fun. We would love to have a guest speaker on.
Yeah.
Something you're passionate about and want to share with people. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Anything that would help somebody else in their daily life. But yeah, I'm with you on the headspace thing. You know, when you tell yourself stories or
internal dialogue.
Yep. It's so easy to kind of get in your head and just feel like, you know, I don't really want to do whatever today or tomorrow or the next day. But I'm happy that we're back. I'm happy that we had some time to catch up and share with everybody what we've been doing. Hopefully that was interesting to you. And yeah.
And you don't go waste your $20 on a clear blue menopause stage indicator.
Yeah. But if you're still going to do the 5 days, and then maybe we'll have a catch up, or on our next episode, we can share what you learned.
So Kelly, I do have, just talking a little bit about our funk, just a little helpful reminder to close out the episode. It says, next time you're stressed, take a step back, inhale, and laugh. Remember who you are, why you're here. You're never given anything in this world that you can't handle. Be strong, be flexible, love yourself, and love others. Always remember, just keep moving forward. And that's really it is, right? Just 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. Get those negative worms out of our head and try and find something positive to focus on.
I love that. A minute. I love that. And I'm a huge proponent of giving yourself grace as well. You can sit and beat yourself up and do all the things like, you know, I didn't do this right, or I should be doing this, or I should be doing that. We're human and we have emotions, and you don't have to be perfect all the time. But yeah, just give yourself grace.
Yeah. And I think I've given this advice to my daughter once, where it's okay to have a pity party, right? Poor me. This sucks. This is awful. Why did this happen to me? But maybe give yourself an amount of time. I'm going to feel bad for myself and I'm going to cry for the next 15 minutes. And then I'm going to get up and literally set a timer, right?
Yeah.
So that you're not just sitting there focusing on it, but give yourself that grace that I feel like this for a reason. Acknowledge it. Maybe talk to yourself like, why am I feeling this? Is it because I watched something sad that triggered something? You know, that happens to me. I'll watch something and I'll think, oh, wow, yeah, that brings back some emotions I didn't remember. But
yeah,
just give yourself time to be in it, but then also time to pull yourself out.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for chit-chatting.
Thank you. And I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time. If you or someone you know has thoughts of hurting themselves or others, please text or call 988. They will direct you to someone in your community that can help. You can also call 911 in an emergency.
Remember, you never know what someone else is going through. Sending peace and love to all. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook.